What's happening, everybody? We just got through Thanksgiving, and now it's time for some Metal Desk with V and our good friend, Mr. Fred Metalhead Bonanno. What's up, dude?
Hi, V.
Nice.
So I don't have to do it physically anymore. I'll just do this from now on.
Sure. You get that at your proctologist?
Yes. Yeah, with both hands.
Absolutely. Tell the folks what's going on today.
Yeah, hopefully everybody had a great Thanksgiving. It's snowy as hell out here where Vince and I are in the Midwest. Got hit with another couple inches last night, but what the hell, it is winter, so we're used to it.
Fred, you okay? You
yeah, I thought you. It looked like you froze there for a second.
Oh.
I thought you froze, and I go, "Oh shit! Did his screen just freeze?" No. We're all good. We're all good. So everybody's good. So today we got on another great young band that came across our attention. They are Tailgunner, and the bassist Tom Husson formed the band Tailgunner over a period of 2 years, starting in 2018. He utilized social media and demos that he created, reaching out to musicians across Europe and jamming with various players to assemble a group. The band's name was inspired by the Iron Maiden song of the same title. The band's debut album, Guns for Hire, was released in July of 2023, and they have their second album, Midnight Blitz, scheduled for release February 6, 2026 on NWOBHM Records. They were brought to our attention when we heard the single Midnight Blitz, and immediately we knew we needed to get these guys on, find out a little bit more about the band, members, and what lies ahead for Tailgunner. So please welcome Tom Husson and Craig Carnes. And I probably messed up your last name again. Craig, sorry about that.
Cans, like
Cans.
Cans.
Got it. Sorry, man. Sorry.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
How are you?
All good. How are you?
Coming to us from across the pond, so we got a little bit of a time difference here, but hopefully everything will be good. Just wish you guys a warm welcome on behalf of the Metal Desk. So let's start things off by having you guys introduce yourselves and giving us a history of the band and how Tailgunner came about.
Go ahead, Craig.
Let's just let rip.
So I'm Craig Cairns, lead vocalist. Bit of a story how the band came about. As you've said in the intro there, Tom was looking for members, and we started talking. I think it was around 2018, 2019, like not even thinking about putting the band together, but trying to do something. And then it took us quite a while for even to form the band, which I think was like 2022. So,
well, like you run, musicians are always, at least back in the day when I was in a band, you're always looking for, at least when you're starting out, you're always making sure, oh, okay, mental note, that guy, when his band's starting to falter, I'm going to snag him or her. And then,
That's pretty much exactly what it was, because Tom was like, you want to sing for my band? And I was already in a band at the time. So I obviously said, I can't at the minute, but I do really like this stuff that you've got, the songs and that. And eventually that band did part ways, and here we are now.
It's like, you can tell, like the magic, you can tell, like, oh, that guy's chemistry will work really good. We don't know if we get along yet, because that happens too. But sometimes if you don't and there's a little rub, that's even better. I mean, think of all the great, partnerships in music due to that rub. And it's because of that rub that the music was even that much better.
One
of the things I remember when I was a singer, it used to drive me crazy when people would walk up to me at a party and ask me to sing like I'm some kind of a fucking monkey.
Yeah, just perform now.
Yeah, let's go. That used to drive me nuts. Anyway, sorry. I'm getting over it, really. It's only been, 35 years. But So let's hear your side of the story, Bones. about how the band starts.
Well, the same story. But I remember the first time I heard Craig sing was like 2018 on YouTube, and I called my ex, my girlfriend at the time. I said I found a singer for the band, and she said, "Who is it?" And I sent her Craig's profile. And she said, "Oh, it says that he's already in a band." And I went, "Yeah, but I'm not going to worry about that. Like, he will be the fucking singer." And I started to pester him, basically, like, "Dude, you got to sing for this band. You got to sing for this band." And he was like, "Yeah, it sounds cool, but I'm busy." And then I was living on the South Coast, and Craig's band were based around Liverpool, so it's like the other side of the country, basically. And I traveled across England to go to this gig and meet him in person. And I think that's when I showed up at this like bar show, basically, that his old band were playing. I think that's when he was like, "Oh God, this guy's actually fucking serious."
He's a real person, not just exist on the internet.
If I get kidnapped, that dude did it.
But it's like Sam was the drummer. Our first drummer, Sam, played in that band too. And he always said, "I thought that you were there to try and steal my girlfriend, but actually you were there to try and steal my singer." That's pretty much it. But it took like fucking 2 years of posting everywhere across social media and putting flyers in every metal bar and guitar shop and everything all around England, and really messaging people even in, Western Europe, to try and get something together. And a couple of years later, we finally had like the original lineup.
Yeah, I can't even imagine how tough it is right now for a younger band to break through. Just now, I mean, you had all the regular noise from, the usual 10,000 bands. Then your music speaks for yourself. If you're good, people will hear it. But there's so much. Like, I spend 5 hours, 6 hours a week looking for new music, and you'll hit, like, you'll see one band, and then there's 40 other bands that sound exactly the same. And you're like, who's going to push through? And then now with AI, now you have another level of bullshit you have to sweep through, which is just, if the music company, the music business, they're like, "Oh, hey, we can finally take the artist out of the art." And it's really interesting with the lawsuits going on, because I'm working on a different project. I have this photographer, 97 years old. I have her entire career, 50,000 images. And they're all beautiful. They look like paintings. So you start researching who's buying this stuff. There's 4 or 5 companies buying all content right now. They're buying up all the content. So then you go, here's what's going to happen. Oh, this company owns Deep Purple, Kiss, Aerosmith, Led Zeppelin, and 25 other bands. And you could probably pay a fee and extract and write music from that grouping of bands, because, for instance, Warner Brothers Music is suing all the AI companies because everything's derivative. You have to get that stuff from elsewhere, and it's already been paid for, either by, guys like you or, larger corporations or whatever. So how do you guys feel about that going into this? At this point, like, seeing what's going on, does it freak you out a little?
I don't worry about it at all, to be honest. There was an interview quite recently with Michael Kiske of Halloween, and I think he summed up beautifully, and he said AI is never, at least from a musician's point of view, it's never going to be able to compete because it doesn't have a soul. And that's really it. You can have the exact same recording, the exact same song, lyrics, solos, whatever, side by side, and if one is made by a human and one is made by a robot, then you're gonna, as a person, you're gonna prefer the one made by a human every single time, because the whole purpose of music is to have something that you can relate to, that you can put your own dreams into, and to have someone else in the world realize that someone else feels the same way as you do. If something's made by a machine, the same as a piece of art, a visual piece of art, it's made by a machine. They haven't captured anything. They haven't captured any beauty. So really, it's not something that I worry about too much.
I mean, I used to be a special effects guy, and when I was just getting into it, 21 years old, they're like, you're the last of the special your generation is the last of you. I'm like, what? And they're like, but don't worry, because they'll never get smoke and fire correct. And what's the first thing everyone uses now that's AI? Smoke and fire.
Yeah, you can still so.
Yeah, you look back at like the 80s movies with like John Carpenter and things, and like that side of, I love those movies. Like the practical effects still look better. I mean, you have like these huge budgets movies and whatever, but practical stuff, even if it's a bit cheesy, it just looks so much cooler. So,
oh, absolutely, the best worst movie of all time, Basket Case. I love that movie. It looks so, hockey, but it's the best because the cheese factor is so great. And the place that I worked at, we did all the Freddy movies and Friday the 13th and all that stuff, and so it made many gallons and 55-gallon barrels of fake blood. And that's another thing. They use blood, they use blood with everything now too. But, like then 2 weeks ago, #1 song, Billboard country charts, all AI. #1. And then the following week, the top 10 of the top 40 were all AI used in all of it. And it's bizarre, man.
I don't think it's #1 because people think it's good, though. I think it's probably #1 because people are seeing what it actually is. Like the amount of listens it's got is because it's AI, not because it's any good.
But did people know prior to that or after it went #1? You know what I mean?
Well, it's been a lot in the press that, this thing is AI, so people naturally go and check that out, I think. But they're not going to listen to it twice. They're not going to, put it on the favorite playlist or whatever.
Like I have all these guys that I came up with that, they worked for Lucas, George Lucas, and done, they've done all the, designed Superman and Krypton and all this stuff, and they're losing work. So it's weird to see like the thing that you've done for years and years and years start to get taken over and swallowed by a bigger fish. And is the fish bigger or is it just more convenient? Because the thing that gives us humanity is the arts. And man, if we lose that to a computer, we're screwed. So thank you for carrying the torch.
The thing is, I think with that though, I mean, I agree with Craig because there was a band, I think a band, quote unquote, the Velvet Sundown, I think the name was, on Spotify. They blew up, but it was an AI project, and it blew up after everyone knew, because they were all over the news as being AI. But it completely fell off again because people are naturally very curious. The interesting thing is, I think, with the #1 in the country charts being AI, I read about that, and it's quite funny because I think it exposes how derivative a lot of mainstream chart music is. So it's so easy to make an AI country track, or mainstream at least country track, because everything is so
homogenized
anyway. I don't think you'd be able to do that in rock and roll or metal quite so easily because it's more diverse as a genre, even in heavy metal. And I mean, we have a lot of cliches in the band, but I still don't think that you could AI a Tailgunner track. Thank God. I mean, I wish my life would be so much easier if we could.
Right? Here's my tune.
You can hear it as well because it never pronounces words properly, and you always get like these amalgamations of harmonies, and it's weird.
It's all, and we're talking to Rudy Sarzo, and Rudy, he uses AI to jam with because all the people he jammed with moved out of LA to different, states or different countries. So he jams with his AI. Okay, I can see that, you know what I mean? Play along with the drum track or whatever. But that's kind of, getting kind of weird. And the day after Ace Frehley died, I went online just for shits and giggles, and there's like 10,000 AI tribute tracks. And we even covered one, and it was really good, But to be fair, that was the only time that we actually covered anything or showed anything with AI. if a band uses AI in their music videos, we don't cover it because that's taking jobs away. That's the way I look at it.
I was so disappointed recently. There was a great track off The Darkness's new album called Rock and Roll Party Cowboy. I'm not a huge fan of the band, but I like them, and I thought that track was fucking great. And then they put out the music video, and it's all AI generated, and it was just like basically put me off the song. It's just so disappointing.
Yeah.
I would rather a cheesy cliched video than have, well, we couldn't do what we wanted within our budget, so he AI'd everything. It's like, well, that's even worse. I would rather use cheesy effects and like it be comical than actually AI shit.
Yeah, and you can lean into tropes, all types of things. And I talk about all the time. It's like, I've worked on music videos where the budget was $2 million, $3 million, Guns N' Roses, Rolling Stones, endless money. And then now you're lucky if you get 10 grand, 5 grand, 3 grand to make a music video, if you even get money. And it really shows the creativity and the artistic mood of the band where, man, you can do a lot. People think, oh, we don't have any money to do anything. It's not in the money.
Yeah.
You can do a lot of things that, paint a barrel and now it's not a barrel. It's something else. You think enough, you can do, great. I mean, look at Jump by Van Halen. At the time they spent $700 on a music video and just a rehearsal space. But then, in the music video where Slash is coming out of the ocean, where I built the rig for him to do that, that was a $3 million friggin' music video.
Not even Slash as well. That's the funny part.
And that shot to get him coming out of the water was $1.5 million out of that 3 million. Because it was, this whole backdrop is 500 feet across. That had to be painted. And then you had 60 people in the water, and then you had another 8. It's crazy. And you can do so much more. 2 people at the camera and some ideas in your head. And I've seen some of the greatest music videos that are shot for under 5 grand than I have, seen all these people spending money. Yeah,
I think the restrictions on things forces people to get more creative.
Right. Just like
just typing a prompt into a computer because you can.
Oh, I go back and forth with this guy's like, oh yeah, the new artists are going to be prompt writers. I'm like, oh my God, do not call them artists. They literally have nothing to do with art. They're prompt writers.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was the writing process behind the new album coming up here?
It was a lot more collaborative than previously, because with the debut album, that was pretty much written before the band even formed. I mean, I wrote like 9 tracks on that record, and the closing song, Rebirth, was something Craig wrote for the band that he was in previously.
Yeah.
And I wrote that. I'd never written songs before, and I was basically teaching myself how to be a songwriter, because I thought, well, I need to have something to go and show to people to say this is what I want to do.
Right.
Whereas with this record, it was written over the last few years, but I think most of it really was written in the last year. And when we recorded the debut, we'd never played a show. And this time we've been on the road all over Europe, like 100 shows later, and played with, bands like Saxon and Wasp and Accept and all of these like killer legendary bands. So there's so much more experience, and it's so much more collaborative, because I think everyone's really come into their own as a writer. Not to mention that obviously Rhea has joined the band since the debut, so we've got a phenomenal new guitar player, and Eddie, our new drummer as well, is like definitely the best drummer we've ever had in the band. So they've really made a huge difference.
Yeah, I wanted to hit on this before we get going any further. You guys impressed metal legend KK Downing after you supported him on with KK's Priest in 2023. He produced the new album Midnight Blitz, and he said, and what a great quote this is, he said, Tailgunner, they personify everything that is heavy metal. I would imagine that's had to be such a surreal experience, not only playing on the same stage with KK, but then he produced your album. What can you tell us about his contributions and lessons learned from working with him?
Well, yeah, you put it like that, but when it's nice to like sit down and get to know him because he's just like one of us, really, just a normal bloke. We get on really well, but yeah, we had a load of demos. I think we probably had 70% of the album. And went to KK's studio and like sat down with him and suggesting things that we can do with the songs, trim all the fat or write extra bits. I think one of the ones as well, he suggested that we write a ballad, or he more challenged us to write a ballad. So I bet you can't write a ballad for this album. That was quite an interesting thing, because the album before, if you heard it, is all full on 100 miles an hour. So to actually have a track that slows down a bit, quite fun to do. Yeah, learned a lot from KK.
So you got the ballad written. That's good. That's good. Mm-hmm. So the album comes out. We talked about February. So if I can also ask real quick, that same show that you supported KK in 2023 in Wolverhampton, the late ex-Iron Maiden singer Paul Di'Anno was on that bill as well. Did you guys get a chance to meet him?
Unfortunately, no, I did not. I don't know if anyone else does.
You played with Saxon and Accept. Saxon's last album is phenomenal. I mean, a lot of people, when they're 40 years in, they'll call it in, and not these guys, man. That is a vicious album. Accept
is still going strong. It's amazing.
Yeah, Brian Tatler.
I saw them weeks ago.
Smart choice with Brian Tatler joining the band. Like, you couldn't get a better pick, and no one complained. That's one of the few lineup changes from a band that legendary that no one said a peep. Everyone was like, oh okay, And it's funny how sometimes people just like when Steve Vai went into Whitesnake, that made no sense to me at all. Like, what like Steve Vai and Whitesnake, that shit doesn't didn't jive together for me. But both great players, but time and place, I guess. So how long did it take you to you guys to actually, once you hit the studio with KK, after you worked through your demos, and then you went home and did homework, and how long to record in studio for the new album?
We were in and out for like 6 months.
Yeah, it wasn't like one set block. It was, well, do a bit here when we can. We'll go down on the weekend, stay over, record some bits.
He didn't jam it up your. He's like, okay, we're gonna let it breathe and let the songs are done when the songs are done. Because a lot of times, sometimes you can tell people are like, oh, we got 2 weeks. Let's break that time up a little bit so people,
Yeah,
you can hear something 2 months later and you're like, oh, hey, I got an idea for that one bit in there, in between the bridge and then boom, makes a song. Like, I get sent songs all the time that are in mixing phase. Hey man, check this out. Is it missing anything? And that to me is like one of the coolest things, that you get to hear these tracks before they go into a different phase, and when your ideas get in there. And it's not like, oh, my idea's in there. I'm like, no, man, if you do this, it'll make your song better. It's just this little,
Yeah, we had things changing right up until the very end of mixing, pretty much. And one of the things was I was listening to the album, and I didn't even realize Zach recorded a solo at the front end of a song called Barren Lands and Seas of Red, and that totally surprised me. So things can change like that really quick. I didn't even know it was in there.
Yeah, because people who don't write music don't understand that you can come in with this and then it turns into something totally the polar opposite by the time it's done,
Yeah.
And one little comment can totally change the tone and feel. Even if you just pick a different effect for the lead, oh, now the song's totally different. And then that, now you got 6 more ideas because of that effect. You know what I mean? But all righty. Tailgun. Look at that. That's a great looking band. And yeah, you guys are actually dressed like metalheads, man.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Represent.
Exactly.
So how was the how did Ozzy's passing affect you guys?
Massively. Yeah. I never get emotional about celebrity deaths, but Ozzy, more than a celebrity.
He was beyond that. He was everyone's uncle, man.
Yeah, well, yeah, and like he was always been around forever since we've been alive. Yeah. But the day he died, we were actually playing in Ireland, and we got the news literally 15 minutes before we went onto stage. We were in the dressing room getting ready, and our guitar player Zach came into the dressing room and he says, "Guys, I've got some really bad news." And of course, we were all like, "Can it wait till after the gig? We don't want to go." Exactly. Yeah, and he's like, "No, you have to know. You have to know." I go, "Okay, what is it on?" And he says, "Yeah, Ozzy's died." And our first reaction was, "Nah." We didn't believe it at all. Ozzy, he can't die. He's exactly this immortal
every
icon.
person we've talked to had that same attitude. Ozzy can't die. Ozzy's gonna live forever, you know.
Yeah, and of course, 2 weeks before, he just done the Back to the Beginning show, and he sounded great there.
We were interviewing a guy who had just come back from that show, and this show used to be called Monday Metal, and so we were doing a live stream on Tuesday because that's when the guy could come in. So we changed it to the Metal Desk and purple because of Ozzy. Because during our live stream, we found out that Ozzy passed. So here's me and Fred and Metal Joe all bawling on camera. And then it went viral. You know, it was all over Europe and, you know, the UK. And then BBC Birmingham had me on to represent American metalheads for the tribute to Ozzy the following morning. And it was just, I've never experienced a, you know, like it was, I remember when Princess Diana passed away, that was huge. But for a musician,
yeah,
like when Michael Jackson, you know, Ozzy, like I told BBC, Ozzy was bigger than Michael Jackson. He was bigger than Elvis. Ozzy, if you didn't like his music, you loved Ozzy. You know what I mean? And it's like he just, you know, because of all the years and all the stories and everything. And then you just found out he was a funny guy who liked to draw and, like, you know, hang out with his family and dogs. But
yeah, and he was humanized by the Ozzy, you know, the Ozzy show, him and Sharon.
Yeah.
It kind of humanized him. Everyone thought he was just this spaced out druggie. And then when you saw him at home with his dogs and everything, you realize he's just a normal dude that happens to be blessed with a good voice and was in the band that made heavy metal. And I think they really humanize him. I get a lot of people that go, he's not such a dick that everyone thinks he might be.
And back to the beginning, I think that is one of the biggest days in music history. And I think hard rock's going to come, but not that it ever went away, but I think it's going to be seen now in a different light, and it's going to come back in a big way just because of that show, because it was something else before the show. It was something different the day of the show. It was something different after the show was over. And then it turned into something else after Ozzy died. So it's like this whole community, because heavy metal is a genre unto itself. No one has a brotherhood like metalheads. Sorry, you don't have that in hip hop. You don't have that in rock or jazz or blues. You know, the metal guys helped each other survive growing up. Hey, you hungry? You need a place to live? You know, that was all part of it. You know, so I think Ozzy, on his way out, he gave everyone the thing that, hey, you're all going to be okay. I got to go, but everyone's going to be fine, you know?
Well, and I think we talked about this before. I think the music industry realizes, again, how big heavy metal is. It's not just, pushed off to the side in the the budget bins at the record store. I think heavy metal and guys like you, a young band like you guys, have helped fuel this fire of heavy metal getting back to mainstream, and it's not looked upon as shit anymore. It's relevant again, and I think it's great. And great young bands. We've had a lot of great young bands on this show in the last year and a half, and we love to see the success they're having. And we know you guys are poised to have some really nice success. You got a great start with your album, and now this album, which the one song I've heard off it, which we're going to hear later, is Kick Ass. And I kind of want to ask you, bringing up that point, is you get compared to a lot of bands. Like I've heard you compared to Iron Maiden and Judas Priest, old school heavy metal. Do you like that comparison when they say you guys are old school metal? You're like an Iron Maiden or Judas Priest? Or would you rather say, no, we're Tailgunner and this is who we are? Would you rather just be yourself than have all those comparisons?
I mean, you can't complain about being compared to the best metal band in the world.
True.
But yeah,
took the words out of my mouth.
I get the thing, but we are influenced by that. We're all massive Maiden, Priest fans, and of course having KK on the album as well.
Yeah, that helps,
Yeah, but
it's really cool with the younger bands. We're all guys, me and Fred, but to see it, you guys aren't just doing it to do it. You're doing it because you love it. You have no, I mean, that's what's great about seeing all the younger people come back to this genre with legitimate credentials and love for the music. They're not just doing it because in order to get into this today, you really need to love what you're doing.
Yeah, I think I'm the same as Tom as well. Like, reason started really was because he wanted to create a band where there wasn't that kind of style going on in bands our age anyway. And we want to play this and make heavy metal live on forever. So
yeah, and you guys got an incredible stage presence. I've seen a few videos of you live. Great stage presence with your band, really electric. And if I ever do a meet and greet, I make sure I don't hug Rhea because she's got them studs all over the place. I'd probably get her with that outfit she's got on.
She'll just beat your ass, Fred.
Yeah, she will. Oh, actually, one quick question, if I can, Tom or Craig. Going back to the first album, this one kind of got to me. I really liked it. Your debut album, Guns for Hire, you got a song in there called Shadows of War. It's a really powerful track. The lyrics are taken from real journals and letters from soldiers during World War I. Really some emotional lyrics in there. A price is paid in blood, buried in the mud, and each breath a knife in my lungs. After the fight, at the dying light, these are the shadows of war. We lived in the dust, an empire of rust, the one standing over death's doors. Can you tell us about the process of researching and writing that song and what it means to you guys as a band? Such an emotional song.
That was the first track. That was the first song I ever wrote, funnily enough. But I wrote the music way before the lyrics. So it was literally the first piece of music, proper piece of music that made it onto the record that I did for Tailgunner. And I moved to London a few years ago, and there's a place called the Imperial War Museum. I'm interested in history and war and stuff. I'm not like fucking Sabaton, but it's interesting and it makes for good heavy metal. And I just went by myself one day and I was like, I'm going to look for. It was actually some inspiration for a band name, but I was walking around the museum and they had this exhibit on World War One and British soldiers in World War One, and they had different pieces of journals and letters that they'd sent home, and there was just so many cool little phrases in them. So I'm always open to. I think as an artist, you have to be open to inspiration coming from anywhere, and I just put things down in my phone of, oh, that's a cool little lyric, that's a cool word. And when I got home, I realized that there was basically a full song, and I just made it rhyme. That's really all it was just taking these things that these men had sent, you know, over 100 years ago, and making it rhyme. And it's a cool thing. It's a cool way to not just open the album, but open our careers and to pay tribute as well to those people. And, you know, those words are immortal anyway. They don't need us, but it's a very, very cool thing to bring that to life through our music.
That's pretty cool too, because a lot of people mainly focus on World War II, and World War I isn't even like mentioned these days. So, you know, that's pretty cool. My stepfather was in World War II in the Queen's Army, and he was when they attacked London, he was injured multiple times. But yeah, I've got 13 vets in the family. A lot of people don't talk about war because they don't understand it, or the military. Now, I mean, 50 years ago, you could walk down the street and you'd 12 people who served. You could talk to 12 people who served in the military. Now it's kind of, some people don't even say that they were in there, or people get weird about it. It's very
What though, Vince? I started this a few years ago. Whenever I see somebody wearing a veteran hat or something that tells me they were in the service, I do go up to them and thank them for their service. And the look in their eyes is so grateful that somebody went out of their way to thank them, because I never had served in the service. It was, the draft was eliminated before it was my time. But I appreciate that. My dad fought in World War II, and so I do appreciate what they've done for us. And I think they appreciate being told thank you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's how I grew up. I always, my boys, since they're little kids, we'll cross the street if we see someone in uniform. Hey, thanks for letting me be an asshole, because I can say all these things that are, goofy and silly because you picked up a rifle on my behalf. So thank you. But yeah, I mean, what's going to happen now with AI and everything else? Is there, hopefully war can just evaporate. Of course, will it? No, because there's too much money, but
there's money in it. Yeah, exactly.
The world's moving forward, and the wars still persist.
Hey, I got to bring this up too before we don't forget. This is huge for you guys. In August, I'm looking at my phone. Sorry. In August of next year, you guys are playing in Spain at the Legends del Rock Festival. There's some huge bands on there, and you guys are playing the same day as Sabotage, Black Label Society, Thunder Mother. You guys are on there that day. The following day, or 2 days later, Friday, super close friends of our show, Wings of Steel, is playing there as well. I don't know if you guys have heard of Wings of Steel. They're a phenomenal band. So make sure you say hi to Leo and Parker if you're out there. But this is huge for you guys. Halloween, Arch Enemy. I don't know who our new lead singer for Arch Enemy is now, but there's some huge names there. This is fantastic for you guys. Congratulations.
Cheers.
Thanks,
yeah,
man.
well, have a good time.
And it's cool to see, like, when I came up in metal, everyone was everyone was either, raging alcoholic, junkie, drug issues, that whole thing. So it's really cool when I got back into it that a lot of the musicians, not all of them, but a lot of that's not even in the cards, and if someone's having an issue, they address it for the most part now. Like, hey, we can't tour for this because so-and-so's got to do whatever. So it seems to have gotten better that they're actually caring for the artist today. You know what I mean? Rather than, we can just replace, you can't replace, that kind of synergy between players.
No.
Doesn't always work. And did you get to play golf with KK?
No, not yet. Too busy making the music.
Right. Like, I'll be back. I'm gonna go play 18. I'll be back. I'm gonna go think. But yeah, I mean, you couldn't ask for a better captain of the ship for your album other than KK Downing. I mean, shit, way cool. So did you get to hear any cool Priest stories?
Yeah, quite a
that
lot,
you
but
can
probably
say
the
on.
No,
I have a lot of people
exactly.
who've worked with Judas
But they
Priest, so
were
I
cool.
heard a lot of stuff.
Yeah, whether we can say them on the air is a different question.
Yeah, KK's. I mean, he's always been an incredible player, man. It would be nice to see Judas Priest go out. As they do I hope the final show that Priest does, KK's invited at least. That.
Well, they just announced, and
Personal politics but whatever. Just everyone loves. We're all metalheads. We all love Judas Priest, and it would just be nice to see, because it was really cool when they got inducted to see everybody up there. That was really cool.
Well, they announced a tour in 2026. Did they say this is their farewell tour? Is that what they announced?
No, not
okay,
that I'm aware.
I just saw them about 3 months ago here in Chicago. Actually, they opened for Alice Cooper. Richie Faulkner's phenomenal. He's a great guitar player, but it's just you really want to see KK and Tipton up there. I know that probably will never happen again, especially with Tipton's health conditions. But it would be great if he could get on one more tour with him.
Yeah, and then also want to just do a shout out to Michael Kiske. He's they had to cancel Halloween had to cancel their Asian tour for December due to illness, and I hope you get back up and healthy as quick as possible. What a great thing that they've done, that they have both singers and they have all the guitar. That was the coolest, and they're one of the best live performances I've ever seen on tape. Was that last tour that they all did together. I was just blown away like I was in 1986, 87 when I first heard.
I saw that tour a month ago at Hammersmith Odeon here. It's like fucking insane.
What a band.
Huge, yeah.
Well, they're coming out our way in April. They have tickets in April, so hopefully everything's cool by then.
Yeah, I never understood why they weren't like Metallica huge. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
Like out of, or a Queensryche huge or Dream Theater. They were, I mean, what a band, man.
I mean, in Europe, they are really
right.
They're a full-blown arena band in Europe and South America. It's just, it seems you guys in the States don't appreciate them as much as other parts of the world.
Everyone here's got their head up their ass, like Halloween, it's got hell in the title.
So you guys got quite a few tours coming up next year, all in Europe and stuff. Any plans at all? Any possible workings to come to America to play some shows?
Yes.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Well, we're working on it.
We're working on it. We can't say too much more right now, but
sure.
Yeah.
Well, when you have something to say more on it, or if you happen to come out this way, come back on the show. You guys are part of the family. Anything you got going on, you want us to help you promote it, no problem. Just let us know.
Yeah.
We cover bands, like I said, we cover music that we love. We don't blow smoke up people's asses because there's the rest of the internet's for that, and we'd rather just joke around, make friends with people who give us the enjoyment of listening to music again. Like I literally gave up on hard rock, and then Fred showed me Wings of Steel a few years back, and now I'm back in the pond.
He's back.
I'm like, wow, like because you start hearing things. Metal turned into rap, then it did a whole thing, and then there's 65 subgenres, and then boom, all of a sudden, there's a whole generation of musicians who get it. Like legitimately get what it was, what they're going to make it into, showing respect, having great ears, and exceptional talent. It's great to see. And I couldn't be happier. So thank you.
There is a lot of good young bands out there, and Tailgunner included. And when I hear a song like that, or Vince does, we immediately call each other and go, "Let's get these guys on." And that's what happened to you guys. I heard Midnight Blitz. I called Vince. I go, "I'm going to get these guys on." He goes, "Book them." So
he sends me the link, and I'm like, 2 seconds, book them.
And I was going back and forth with Tom here, trying to get this hooked. I'm glad we finally got it, because we got a couple issues, but glad we finally got you guys on. I'll be reviewing the single Midnight Blitz, which we're going to watch here in a minute, from Metal Temple. So go check that out next week. Spoiler alert, I'm going to give it a pretty damn good rating, but and you'll see why when we show this video.
Absolutely. All right, you want to cover the tune or what? Are we ready?
Yeah.
Hey, you guys ready for it?
All
ready
right.
For a little midnight. We strike at midnight.
There we go. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, all between. All right, this is an in-show tunage episode, and we have the artist with us from Tailgunner. So we're going to react with the band. Fred, give some background info on this song and album coming out.
The album is called Midnight Blitz, and the song we're going to react to is Midnight Blitz. It's off their new album, which is scheduled for release in February 6th on Napalm Records. We've got Craig, the lead singer, and Tom, the bass player, and they've been around for a couple years. They had a debut album released in 2023. This album is produced by KK Downing from KK's Priest and Judas Priest, and it's a fantastic song. We fell in love with it the first time we heard it, so we would like to share it with everybody else out there.
Here we go. So were you worried about breaking that? Were you worried about breaking your mic stand? Because that's like the first thing that came into my mind. I'd be worried about snapping that thing.
Well, I built it myself, so I know it's quite sturdy.
Oh, right on. Right on. Even better. See? It's you can totally hear the DNA of British heavy metal in this song. I love that. Totally, but onto its own. Like when I hear this, I don't hear Priest. I don't hear Maiden. I hear why people maybe would think so, but
yeah,
totally not at all. You know what I mean? All right, before we get in the guitar solo, where did you guys shoot this music video?
This was shot at KK Steel Mill, so he lent it out to us for the day.
Yeah, you guys have a great look on stage. Your stage presence, I mean, your stagecraft is really good. Yeah. Fantastic. I also love that we've gotten to a point where people are like, oh, they have a girl guitar player. No, they have another kick-ass guitar player. That's what it is. You know what I mean? The term girl band pisses me off so much. Like, no, they're fucking musicians and they're playing great music. Fantastic. Always bothered me. I don't get why people did that. Hell yeah. That's the way you do it, people.
Nicely done. You still get a kick out of seeing your videos out there, guys? Still get a kick out of going, shit, that's us.
I still like the song.
So give credit where credit is due for the band. We got lead vocals right here, Craig, on bass, Tom, and then you got Rhea Thompson on guitar, Zach Savini, and on drums, Eddie Marodi. So great job, guys. See big things for Tailgunner in the future, that's for sure.
Absolutely. The video is very well shot and exceptionally edited. Sometimes you lose it in the edit, and it just gave it even more energy. So great job. You guys look great. Fantastic sound. Incredible. And another band ready to take over the world by force.
And the album is out February 6th on NWOBHM Records. Midnight Blitz is out there now on YouTube, and it's also at iTunes. I think it's already on there. And your website is tailgunnerhq.com, right?
Yes. Yeah, but don't go there. It doesn't.
Don't go there? Okay. Don't go there. Forget I said that.
It doesn't.
No website? Okay. Forget I said that. Back that one up. It's a cool, who designed your album cover? That is a really cool album cover.
That is a guy called Death by VHS on Instagram. We found him because he does a lot of horror artwork, movie posters and stuff. There's a killer film from, I think, last year called The Substance that I got really into, and he did a piece of artwork for that. And as soon as I saw that, I thought, like, this, we have to work with this guy. So yeah, really, really kick ass.
Fantastic. And it, you couldn't ask for a better album cover than that. It says it all, really. Tailgunner. Fantastic, you guys.
And what do we say here at the Metal Desk? Buy vinyl, buy CDs, purchase. Streaming's great, but these guys make money when you buy the
physical products so they can keep
physical product. Buy t-shirts, go see them live. That's how these guys survive.
Absolutely. And thank you guys for representing and doing well by a great genre we both love. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Craig.
Thank you, guys.
Hopefully we'll see you guys on the road here next year, right?
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so.
Hopefully.
Watch this space.
Fingers crossed. But anyway, thank you guys so much for coming on. We appreciate it. We appreciate your music and all that you're doing. And we look forward to talking to you next time.
Best of luck, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Take care, guys, and we'll see you soon. All right, Fred. That was Tailgunner. Fantastic band.
Yep. Another great young band out there that hopefully will get
the slots
like,
up from the legends that are leaving us, and now we have legends joining us.
There are some great young bands out there, and we've had a lot of them on with us. So always watch the Metal Desk and Creativity Talking and Tunage.
Yeah.
To see some of these bands.
Absolutely. All right. We'll see you guys next time here on Creativity Talking. As usual, me and Fred will be sitting here at the Metal Desk.